Welcome back to Chiefs Studios. My name is Taylor Bell. Thank you for joining us. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs will kick off the second half of the season with a rematch of the Super Bowl on Monday Night Football tonight in one of the most highly anticipated games of the year. Here are five important things to keep in mind when heading into the tonight's game for both teams. Now, number one is the injury report. Here is a final injury report for both teams. Now, Coach Andy Reid didn't have any injuries to report following Saturday's practice, adding that everyone was a participant. The only caveat to that is that wide receiver Richie James, who was placed on injured reserve with a knee injury earlier this season, is unlikely to be activated prior to Monday night's game, according to Reid. James, while still technically on the injured reserve, returned to practice on November 1st. He can remain in his current state until November 22nd, when the Chiefs need to make a decision about his status for the remainder of the year. The Eagles will be without tight end Dallas Goedert, who fractured his arm in week 9. The absence of Goedert is a significant one as he ranks third on the Eagles in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Philadelphia will also be missing the services of second-year linebacker Nadobe Dean with an injured foot, who was placed on injured reserve earlier this week. Dean started each of the Eagles' last 3 games before suffering his injury. Now, the second key point of the game, Kansas City's defense. The Chiefs have allowed the fewest offensive points in the NFL through week 10. Now, through 10 weeks, no defense has been better than Kansas City in the most important statistic of all, points allowed. Kansas City has surrendered only 134 offensive points this season, which is the fewest of any team in the NFL. The Chiefs played one less game through week 10 than Baltimore, the second closest team. To be fair, but the point remains, Kansas City's defense has been nothing short of amazing. The Chiefs are only team in the NFL to yield no more than 24 points in every single one of their games this year. Kansas City has allowed the fewest plays of over 20 yards of any team in the NFL at only 24 plays, and their 31 sacks ranks third in the National Football League. Now, it appears to be sustainable too, as their collective performance hasn't buoyed by a high takeaway total, where they ranked 16, or an unreasonably high rate of success in the red zone, where they're 17th. Now, the defense has simply been nothing short of outstanding, although the first half of the season, and they'll be tested with Philadelphia, the number 3 scoring offense in the NFL. Will take the field on Monday night to face each other. Now, my third point for the game is Jalen Hurts. The Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, has the second longest average time to throw in the NFL. Interestingly, though, the Chiefs will go from facing a quarterback with the quickest release in the NFL in Miami Dolphins Tua to a passer with one of the longest time to throw marks in the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, whose release time is the second longest of any passer with over 300 passing attempts. For example, 61% of Tua's pass attempts this season have taken place in fewer than 2.5 seconds. Hurts, by contrast, has thrown the ball in fewer than 2.5 seconds on just 41% of his dropbacks. It's all to say that Hurts plays a much different style of quarterbacking than what the Chiefs last faced in Germany. And because of that longer throw time, there is a potential for Kansas City's pass rush to have a significant impact on the game. In fact, Hurts has been under pressure on 37% of his dropbacks this year. But due to his credit, the veteran quarterback has completed 6 big-time throws, a subjective measure calculated by Pro Football Focus, while under pressure. His ability as a runner, as evidenced by his 316 yards rushing this season, also comes into play in those passing situations. Still, Hurts has been sacked 22 times on the year, the 10th most of any player, while recording 8 interceptions and 3 lost fumbles. Now, simply put, the Chiefs' pass rush will likely have plenty of opportunities during Monday night's game, and when presented, it's a imperative thing that they take advantage of this. Now, on my fourth point for the game to keep your eye on is the Eagles' ball control. Philly's offense has emphasized ball control and running the clock all season long. The Eagles' offense is among the best in the NFL this season, averaging 28 points per game, but their style of play represents a stark contrast to that of the Chiefs' last opponent, the Miami Dolphins, in Germany, may I add. The Dolphins were they were predicated on a quick strike drives, big plays, both of which the Chiefs were able to limit in Week 9. The Eagles are a ball control heavy offense that thrives on efficiency. For example, Philly has the most 10 play scoring drives of any team at 21 and the second longest single game average time of possession at 33 minutes and 26 seconds. The Eagles' average scoring drive takes 9 plays and more than 4 minutes, and in the process, Philly keeps the opposing offense off the field. That is key. In fact, the Eagles' defense has faced the fewest offensive possessions of any team in the NFL at just 91. It's all to say that the Eagles prefer to maintain a slow, methodical rhythm offensively that chews up the clock, finishes drives with points, and limits the opportunities of the other team. The key for the Chiefs will be to throw off that rhythm by creating negative plays and turnovers. Philadelphia has just 48 negative plays this season, the third fewest in the NFL, while their 13 giveaways ranks in the middle of the pack. But in their only loss versus New York, the Eagles turned the ball over 4 times and committed 5 negative plays. It seems like an obvious point of emphasis, but the Philadelphia Eagles, it's absolutely critical. A ball control game is their success to winning this game. Now, my fifth point of my 5 things to keep an eye on is Andy Reid coming off of a bye. It's well known in the NFL and in the sports world that nobody has been more successful following a bye week than head coach Andy Reid for the Chiefs. It's perhaps his most well-known statistic amongst Chiefs fans, but it bears repeating, no head coach has been more successful following a bye week than Andy Reid. Reid is remarkably a 21 wins and 3 losses following a regular season bye in his career, including an 8-2 mark with Kansas City. The Chiefs have won their last 5 games following a regular season bye, and when including all games that follow the annual break, not just the game that takes place immediately after. Kansas City is 28-5 since 2018. It's worth pointing out that Philly is also coming off of a bye week for Monday night's game, meaning that both teams will be well rested and ready to go for what promises to be one of the biggest matchups of the season for either franchise. You can catch the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles tonight on Monday Night Football. Game starts at about 7:20 p.m. Central Standard Time on ESPN. Now, those were my 5 keys to victory and/or 5 things that every fan needs to be aware of while watching the game. But me personally, what I want to see is coming off of this bye week is if you remember after the Dolphins game, we did get the W. Yes, it was satisfying. However, I was not satisfied as far as the play. It was a tale of night and day. First half, the offense was theoretically scripted and looked pretty good. And in the second half, looked like a completely different team. They absolutely did not move the ball, looked lackluster, and that's taking it nicely. And we're out of sync all second half. Didn't even hardly move the ball in the second half. Did get away with the W, did feel good. However, there were noticeable points of interest that the Chiefs coaching staff needed to work on during this off week. I wanted to see them sort of make a transition to a quick strike offense. It looks like to me it's obvious that the wide receiving position is very subpar. and the deep ball is noticeably non-existent. They don't have anybody they can throw the ball to deep. Now, I want this coaching staff not to basically re-scheme the offense. But I think you can, just throw away a playbook and bring in a whole new playbook, throw out plays, bring in all new plays. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that. But I want to see whatever the short routes are, the little in routes, the little out routes, any passing play from 5 to 10 yards. I want to see them execute more during this game, and also want to see them try to emphasize the run game a little more. I don't want to lean on it, but I think the play action passing, maybe get Mahomes out on some bootlegs and stuff like that. Maybe, might need to see a little bit more of that. Look, I'm not a head coach, but I do know the Chiefs are sort of in a transition phase, not necessarily because they want to, it's because they have to, because they don't have anybody that can stretch the field. So I do want to see them run the ball a few extra plays, maybe get some play action involved, and like I said, kind of transition to a quick strike offense. So offensive coordinator Matt Nagy and Coach Andy Reid, I'm sure were in the lab cooking up some plays while the players enjoyed their off time in the bye week. So I want to see how the Chiefs come out and play this game. Are they going to look the same as the first half of the year? Are they going to look like they implemented anything new? Are they going to try to play with a new style, a more up-tempo, more efficient style, right? Because you do have to worry about the drops. These wide receivers cannot get separation. So it's going to be imperative that we pass the ball at 5, 6, 7 yard increments just to steadily try to move the ball. Now, Travis Kelce is going to play a big part in this game tonight. Mahomes, I believe, is really going to lean on him. It's basically like his insurance blanket, so to speak. So I know Kelce will have a big game, but I'm going to look at the wide receivers basically and see what they do. So defensive wise, I am not really concerned about. I think they are going to show up and show out as they have done every week. It's just been phenomenal this year. So if the Chiefs defense can hold the Philadelphia Eagles to basically 19, 20, 21 points, I think the Chiefs will have a good chance of winning. And if the Chiefs can create any turnovers, it will not only be huge in this game, but scoring off of those turnovers is going to be huge. Definitely against a phenomenal team like Philadelphia, you have to take advantage of those turnovers. So I'm looking for the Chiefs defense to get 1, possibly 2 turnovers and score off of one of those turnovers. So you think if they get 7 points off of a turnover, and their offense scores, I would say 2 touchdowns. The way they've looked so far, that gives you 21 points with a field goal mixed in here or there. So I'm looking at a score of 24-21, something like that. Chiefs. Now, I know I picked a few days ago the Eagles to win this game, but I am on a prove it to me basis with the Chiefs. But I'm glad they're facing Philly in this matchup. I really, really want to see how the Chiefs do against the NFL's best. That's what I was most excited about rolling into the Germany game last game. I want to play the best teams to see where we match up, to see it's like a measuring stick game, to see how good we are, because the playoffs, I'm really nervous about the playoffs. I'm really nervous about this team. I don't have much confidence in them. So as far as going deep into the playoffs, I know they can beat average teams. I know they can beat bad teams, but when you get to the playoffs, you're playing good teams. So I want to see how they're doing against good teams now. So it will be a very interesting game. We will have more videos, more uploads, more information, more hot takes, more opinions on the Chiefs after this game. Please stay tuned to Chiefs Studios YouTube channel. For Fred Davis, my name is Taylor Bell, and we will see you soon. Peace out.